I don't know. I was just trying to do a quick film of the garage, just to kind of show the stuff for personal documentation purposes. How we've been trying to clean it up and organize it. And there's always a load of stuff to come in that needs sorted from the house or the room or something new. So we're working on weeding it out, organizing it. Got a little shed to keep the keepsakes. Trying to get the rest cleaned up so it could be like almost like a family room perspective. Long story short, and then I start thinking, oh, maybe I should do a video I haven't done in a while, like on life's perspectives. I mean, we're in the middle of a pandemia. I know people don't understand that. It's a pandemic. Some people think it's fake. Some people think it's real. Supposedly, twice the number of people or more have passed away throughout the world. So for the people that have lost loved ones, it's real. For the people that got sick and are sick, it's real. For the people that haven't been sick, some of them don't understand it's real. Now I know it's maybe there's certain portions of it that we don't understand or we don't know to what extent they are. I get that, and everybody's got their own point of view. I'm not saying I'm picking a side either way. I'm just saying that for the people that is really affected, it is really real. For whatever reason, whether it's manufactured in a lab, some people think it's natural, but there's too much funny stuff that's been going on, and the way they report it in the news, it it's so they just there's always one side that comes out against the other, and nobody really wants to know the truth because it's some kind of political power control game by who knows, the world elite. I don't know. I doubt it's the world poor that's caused a pandemia that's killing off the old people and the poor more than it is the physically fit, the healthy. certain certain people that don't associate with people of the lower lanes and the common people. They don't seem to be getting it. It's not making the news. It's not a disease of the rich for sure. Maybe it's the disease of the common class and the older and the pandemia. I guess it's not really a disease, but it's the point that, I mean, it's close to 100 years from the last one, and so it's probably a hybrid version of what everybody says. If you see the news, there's definitely a good consensus that says that people were messing with this stuff, and I have a tendency to believe they've been doing it long before we know it. If you go back to even the World War time there, when it hit, they said it was around World War I. Excuse me. All of a sudden, a pandemia starts, and who knows? That could have been potentially manufactured too. I mean, they did it to the Native Americans over smallpox and stuff like that, and they've done it to other cultures. So allegedly, you have to say allegedly, but across the board. And then when everybody, all of a sudden, the war stopped, everybody come back, and it spread even more. So, and then 100 years have passed, or pretty close to it. So across the board, everybody's got their own view. But factuality is, everything's slowed. We're not necessarily on lockdown, but we're close to it again. 6 weeks in the summertime was the worst. Um, They're limited hours from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. I understand that. I get that. I'm not against it. Usually, a lot of times I'll work at those times or I'll be home. It doesn't matter. But it's the rest of the world that it's affecting that wants to go do stuff, and I understand. But maybe you should limit your travel. Do what they say. Sometimes you should wear the mask. Across the board, when you're doing physical activity, at one time there was an exemption because it's hard to breathe in those things if you're doing a lot of physical exertion exercises. So I guess they just need more testing for the mask too. Besides, they're pushing this uh, mass marketed, soon to be vaccine that they're working on. That's supposedly some places, other places have had something similar for years, and you know, it's who knows. I mean, I think they should check and find out if everybody's had it first. If you're tested and find out if you've even had it, you might not need a vaccine, or maybe you've got some kind of immune system to it. Some people have even speculated that certain blood types are more carriers than actually getting it. So that should be known to the public. That should be factually released information as it's known, or at least a perspective to let people in the education field and non-educated field understand that there's other perspectives out there of it could be certain blood types. I don't know, but it's not to cause a scare or panic, but to let people know that if it's more likely factually that way, that you don't have to worry as bad, but all these other people probably should get the vaccine first. You know what I mean? It's like, come on. It's just so much perspective out there, and it's like all the educated people think they're the smartest, and everybody that they think is the common people, they don't think they have the right view. And then there's paid experts out there that they get to say what they're told to say. It doesn't matter what the truth is. So it's finding the truth from those that are telling the truth and deciphering it, and not jumping on the bandwagon of, oh, there's some kind of doctor scientist, and we're just going to believe them because they're paid by some corporation or some secret government to tell us this, so we can discern the masses and put this stuff out there. However they're doing it. I mean, there's so much going on with the biotech industry secretly for years. I mean, it's been on the news limitedly because they don't talk about it. Then there's corporations that do this stuff. Some of them want vaccines, some of them want to help people. Some of them obviously want the opposite of that. So it's just finding what works for you and your family to keep you and your family the safest through this time of torture. It's December, well, November, almost December 2020. So we're right at the end of November going into December. And, it's just getting there and finding it and doing the best you can between working and living in school or no school or online school. And some people are lucky enough to work online, which is great, but the rest of the masses that we're off in the real work world, then you have more of a perspective to understand, that you're more at risk. It's all low. Should have got it a little sooner. Yeah, that's a helicopter. Probably usually a life flight. It's low enough. It's going into pattern. It's kind of flying at an odd side angle. I can't really show you, but let me see. I don't know. It's kind of like, it's kind of neat because it's actually flying like a little bit of an angle, like it's already in approach. Maybe it's just an experienced pilot because he's still several miles from the landing zone at the hospital. So, but it's kind of neat how they fly at that side angle like that. Long story short. So it's all a matter of what you believe and what you can do to help you and your family the best you can, and try to keep the politics and people out of it, and keep yourself safe and healthy. Stock up on your vitamins, your vegetables, and your nutrition. I'm sure it helps you get your exercise. There was a guy at work not too long ago. He was, during this pandemic, he was told he had pneumonia, not no flu or anything. So he had a couple of days off. They sent him back to work. And I don't know, he couldn't breathe really well, but he tried to tell me he ran almost 20 miles, which is good for him. Because and I guess the exercise can actually help get it out of your system. But I mean, I think if I could run 20 miles, I'd probably do a couple if I got pneumonia. Not overexert myself, because you can really get tired and wear your body down. So, I'd say maybe for me, a couple miles a day would have been good if I could run like that. But to actually sit there and do like almost 20 miles with pneumonia, it just seems unreal that the doctors would say, here, you got 2 or 3 days off, and bam, go to work. And everybody else is being quarantined and not allowed to go to work if they're sick. And this doctor, I don't know how they presume this pneumonia or not pneumonia. I mean, it was so close to what the pandemic was putting out with the flu. It's just unreal what happens, and, that's acceptable. Now you got people that's been around people that might have been around people that were sick, and they're getting off work for a week or two until they can get a test or find out that they haven't been sick. And then you got some that's tested positive, and who knows how long they're going to be off. And we knew a lady that was off at least 6 weeks, but she got lucky and went into a retirement because she was close. So, but as far as that goes, I mean, a lot of people, they could be off for weeks because they're testing positive, and some of them notice effects and some of them don't. Some of them have worse effects from what people are saying. So be well, be safe, take care of yourself the best you can. Somehow have a happy Thanksgiving, a Merry Christmas, a Happy New Year for those of us that are still here to enjoy it. For those that haven't made it, and even though you might be going through a sad time, it's not the first of the sad times and not the last. It just seems to be affecting more people and more masses throughout the world. So Best to you all, the best you can, eternally and always. Take care.